All right. Yes. So, good afternoon, everyone. I believe there was an echo a while ago, but in any case, I would like to welcome you to our free. So basically, that's how it looks from the outside, the the top left photo, and those are the facilities that you would, be experiencing if ever you would join our face-to-face classes, and we would gladly welcome you for any schedules, even if you would just like to visit the facility. You're very much welcome. All right. So enough with the quick introduction about who we are. Let's now go to what we are here for. And so I would like to welcome you to our free English class. And as mentioned, we are lucky to be in the presence of our one of the best specialists we have. He's also my mentor as well, not just in English, but as well as in what I do in sales and marketing. So he is a bachelor's degree holder from Seattle University in the US. He actually basically grew up in the US, in Hawaii, but moved to Vegas for his career. He was and he is still a champion debater, and he won debates in the US, a motivational speaker, and a certified public speaker. He's also a social media influencer. He has a lot of followers on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to follow his Instagram and Facebook, you might as well just do a quick search on his name. And not he is not just the lead trainer, but also the co-founder of the American Institute. So everyone, please welcome Mr. Chris De La Cruz.
All right. Hello. Yes, we're good to go. Great. So before we start, let's get to know each other. Normally in our sessions, we try to get to know our students, our clients, the participants, so that the experience can be more enriching. So June, stay tuned, stay there. We'll be conversing with you as well. Thank you for the awesome introduction. In the chat room, guys, just so I know that you're there. Can you please let us know where you're from, if you have a city or a province, and answer the question, what makes you happy? Very easy, simple question. So in the chat room, do you guys know where the chat room is? Okay, so I will give you roughly 30 seconds to answer that. And we'll soon start in about a minute or so, as soon as everybody types in their answer. So where are you from? All right, so guys, your province, your city, or your locality, and what makes you happy? All right, so Deborah is from Caloocan City. Hi, Deborah. What makes you happy? Okay, I think everyone here is still trying to get used to the chat room area. Arjulu Cruz is from Quezon City. Hello, Arjulu. Don't forget to type what makes you happy. All right, we have Hazel Viloria from Isabela. My family and my career makes me happy. So Hazel, I think you're Ilocana, if I'm not mistaken. Danica is from Malabon City. This is in Bulacan. What makes her happy is focusing on her studies. So what are you studying, Danica? All right, so we got 1, 2, 3 people who have responded. Erica is from Manila. Erica, what makes you happy? Okay, so Danica is an education major. So same as you, June. Your education, right? So Kath, family, career, true friends, and good books. So Kath, can you recommend to us some good books? Danix is from, oh, we have that. Having peace of mind is one of, yes, especially in these times, peace of mind is very important. Karen, Columba, family and, so what makes her happy is family and food. So Karen, what kind of food makes you happy? Is it like an international cuisine, or do you prefer Filipino food? All right, so we have also JJ. JJ is from Cainta. What makes him happy? Learning and acquiring knowledge. All right. Learning can be very difficult for a lot of people. It doesn't make them happy. In fact, it stresses them. But people who want to advance in their careers, learning makes them happy. So good one, JJ. A. Marcelo, professional trainer from Makati. Awesome. From Makati, that's where we're located. So we got another trainer here. Enjoy communicating and sharing knowledge. So what do you train, A? Do you train also communication skills or something in sales and marketing? Usually I know a lot of sales and marketing people. Charlotte is from Manila. Good sleep makes her happy. I would say that makes me joyful. Sometimes with my schedule, my sleeping habits have been so erratic. And yes, sleep would make me happy as well, especially if I dream and not have nightmares. Arjulu, traveling makes him happy. Is it, wait, Arjulu is male or female? Let me look at female. All right. It looks like you're in Baguio at one of the hotels. Looks like Baguio in the photo. Erica, spending more time with family. Karen, Filipino food. And Eric is from Pasay. Happy during payday. Yes, is today payday, Eric? I think so. It is the 15th, usually Fridays, second Fridays of the month or mid-month. Alan Doni is from Marilao. So we got two people from Bulacan. Yes, free training. Every 2 weeks, we have something like this. Alan Doni. Charmaine, or is it Charmin? Caloocan City, family makes her happy. A, trainings to agents, health insurance benefits, also soft skills. I am actually a former unit head, A, of the Blue Company. I'm not sure if you know that one. And since I am managing American Institute, co-managing, I cannot be a unit head there anymore. So I am just not just, but I am a financial advisor. Deborah, family makes her happy. Okay, so we're almost there. I think everyone did participate. I heard from Hazel, Charlotte, Danex, JJ. Okay. So like June said, my name is Chris. I'm from Ilocos Norte originally. And I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii, moved to Seattle for my bachelor's degree. I went to Las Vegas for my career, and I've been here in the Philippines for about a decade. So there's Antonio. Welcome back, Antonio. All right, here's a quick assessment for everyone. In the chat room, what do you think makes a good speaker? All right, I'll give you roughly 20 to 30 seconds. What makes a good speaker or a public speaker? So I can see Abby moving. Hello, Abby. I think your internet is not that fast. I see John Gilbert as well. All right. Alan Doni, your photo is not there anymore. Hazel says, confidence to motivate people, inspirational messages. That's from Erica. Intonation for Hazel, as well as vocabulary for A. Good listener as well. Actually, A, you're absolutely right in terms of being a good speaker. It's hard to motivate or inspire if you don't know your audience, which means you're not listening to the audience. So you're on the spot there. Danica says, tone and clarity, confident, according to John, engages the audience, having confidence and knowledge of the subject matter. All right. Karen, confidence, a good speaker, good listener. All right, most of you guys are on the money there. All right, let me talk and engage with someone. JJ, it looks like your audio video is very fast. So I'll start to engage with you. All right, unmute JJ. Hi JJ, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cainta Rizal.
Akainta Rizal. You look
Am I
familiar.
am I audible? I'm not sure
Yes,
if
sir.
I'm audible.
It's once in a while it cuts off, but it's good enough. So JJ, you're saying that I can see you moving, that's why I called you, but a little bit, there's sometimes it's intermittent. So a storyteller who can create emotional impact amongst the audience. So two of the keywords have been mentioned. And so JJ, you've mentioned one of the keywords, which is impact. How important is impact when doing public speaking or even in conversation?
All right. What I mean about impact is someone who can create substance over form, the one who can create um, a lasting impression among his her in audience so that he can provide the message with clarity and embed uh, the message he want to partake with the audiences. I think the one of a good traits of a public speaker.
That's right. So when you are conveying clear messages, the impact can be strong. If the message is unclear, no one gets the message. And you put the word emotional there. I like that because they have to feel something. Usually, it's not just the intelligence that drives us to commit to an act. It is also the emotions. And we Filipinos are very emotional sometimes. So emotional impact. All right. I want to share with you now my whiteboard. So what makes a good speaker? All right, so one word has been mentioned. Another word has also been mentioned. So I call these the 3 I's in public speaking. All right, in the chat room, what do you think are the 2 other I's? Let me see if you guys know the 2 other I's. Okay, so Danica, yes. And A, got it. A, Marcelo. A, unmute. All right, A, are you there? It looks like A is struggling with internet. Okay, 1 second. Let me make sure that you're allowed to unmute. All right, so A is very polite. He used pull. All right, A, go for it. Unmute.
Hello there. Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. So, A, have you seen people who are confident, but they're not impactful or they're not influential?
Yes, I do.
How does that happen?
Well, sometimes I experience on my own. I mean, I myself is actually guilty about it, since not every time I'm being impactful, not every time I'm being influential with my students, with my audience. So I think that is something that I need to work on as well. So yeah,
Yes.
it makes me like it's not the full package of, you know, leading the people, or engaging the people to listen to you and to get their attention as well.
Okay. So what would make someone become more influential, become more inspirational?
I think one of the characteristics that the someone should have would be, in order for them to be impactful or influential, is to know their audience. That's first. That's the first one. To know, not really getting to know more or deeply about this audience, but for them also to, you know, uh, to know what they want, and who they are as your student or as your listener as well. So I think that's one of the basic needs in order for them to reach those things.
So that's right. Connecting to your audience is very important. There are people who speak English very well. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who are confident, but they're not really connecting to their audience. Perhaps they're
That's
connecting
correct.
to there's a certain kind of narcissism or a Dunning-Kruger effect, wherein they think they're doing well, but they're really not even connecting. Although the English is great, although the
Yeah.
confidence is awesome, I can't connect with it. So we're going to start with a bit of public speaking techniques today, and then we're going to transition in the second half with some grammar, and then end the final hour with a little bit of American accent. So we normally teach all of this in an 80 to 100 hour setting. So what you're going to get is sort of a sampler to at least get some things that you can already use, so that even if it's just 2 hours, you can already implement some of these things. And I will normally engage with you just like I did with JJ or with A, if I see that your internet is very strong, and if I also see that you have a video on, because I know the people who have their videos on are right in front of their screens. Unlike the people who have only a photo, I'm not sure if they're there. So I most likely would not be able to call you. So if you want to engage with me or engage with June, feel free to have your video on. So it's faster for me to call you. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is share with you a technique that can improve those three I's in terms of being a little more influential, a little more impactful, and of course, a lot more inspiring. So I'm gonna share with you my whiteboard again. All right. There are three things we look for when it comes to becoming more impactful, inspirational, and influential as a public speaker. So I would say that these three I's are something that you can't really touch physically. However, there are other things, three other things that are a little bit more technical. So I would consider this part more on the artistic elements, okay, the psychological elements. The other three would be more on the technical elements. Okay. Some of you guys have already mentioned some of the technical elements. Okay. If you improve your technical elements, automatically your artistic elements improve. So we'll start with the technical elements. Some of you guys have mentioned confidence, intonation. So we put all of that on point number one here. We call that delivery. So delivery is your audio visual element. And when we say audio, tone is a lot. Okay? It weighs a lot in the way you come across as confident. But let's talk about visuals. A lot of people are worried about their visuals. Let's talk to John. Hi, John.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, John. So where are you calling from, John?
I'm calling from Makati.
You're at Makati as well. Yes, our office is in Makati, Glorieta. So, John, what do you do?
I'm a healthcare professional. I work with clinical research.
Okay. So you're one of our frontliners, right?
Not really, but I'm involved in vaccine development.
Oh, okay. So do you want to give us any kind of opinion on vaccine? We're going to do something. Might as well. Here we go.
Okay.
Influence us, John.
Yeah. I would say avail the one that is more transparent. Yeah, obviously, I think the audience in this meeting are not the primary recipients of the vaccine that will be um, provided through the government. So I'm anticipating that we are the sector that we would likely avail it when it becomes available in the market.
And how much
So sorry.
how much will that be?
I think the price ranges between 2,000 to as much as more than 3,000. And then if you are going to take it for 2 doses, then that would give you around 8,000 or less.
All right. So June, we should start providing English proficiency with free vaccine as part of the package. Okay.
Yeah.
So John and everyone else who's listening in the chat room, for those who are listening, what do we mean by visuals? So John,
Well,
what do we mean by visuals?
I I'm thinking that it's based on the way first you carry yourself and probably the nonverbal aspect of communication plays or probably is under here. So, like for example, if you're looking for someone that's confident, then they have to see that you are confident. If they are your audience is looking for someone who knows the subject matter, then at least they should be able to see that you are the way you move or the way you deliver your message. They could already tell that you know what you are saying, or probably under probably delivery or the audiovisual is the way you also register
Yes.
visually with your audience with uh, for example, if you're a doctor, then you should at least look like someone as a doctor when you are speaking with your audience. I think so those play a role in terms of delivery and audiovisuals.
Have you ever attended a webinar or online workshop wherein the speaker is not really looking at the camera?
Uh, I do attend meetings. So in a webinar or in virtual meetings like this, I think yes. I think yes. But for me, for example, probably it it also because of our situation right now, or because we're not really used to attending online meetings. So I think the tendency is to really not look at the camera, but more on look at the what how do you call this? Look on the pictures or the videos of the one you're speaking to, so it would appear that you are not really looking at them in the camera. So I think that has something to do with it.
That's right. And so that's a classic mistake when in terms of presentation.
Now I'm
So
conscious right now to look at the
yes,
camera. Yeah.
I I do my best to of course look at the camera. The tendency, of course, as you said, is to look at the photos and the videos. But you want to step away from those tendencies. Just because it's a tendency doesn't mean it's the right thing or it's a good thing. A lot of people have the tendency to say and we don't want that tendency. A lot of people have the tendency to pause a lot or not have great delivery. We don't want those tendencies. We want the tendency to be able to communicate effectively. That's what we're aiming for. So step away from tendencies. That are not very good. And of course, embrace tendencies that's going to help you deliver your message more effectively. I mean, imagine if my delivery will look like this. You will see mostly my forehead. I'm sort of hunched, and I would just be reading something that I'm typing, and there would be a lot of pauses, right? Those are not good tendencies. So you're right. And that's the reason why we take classes, is for someone to notice and tell us, what are my weaknesses? What tendencies do I have? Do I stutter as a tendency? Do I say ahs and ums and use a lot of fillers as my tendency? Do I not look at the screen as my tendency? Is my subject matter poor as my tendency? So those things have to be fixed. Okay, so according to a visuals platform channel that you're about to use when communicating, okay, those are also parts of it. So what you're using, we're sort of in a workshop, and what's happening now is I'm using a whiteboard rather than a PowerPoint, which I will use later as well. But I'm using visuals here to let you know, you can take a screenshot of this as well, that I am a teacher, I'm also a trainer, and I like using whiteboards or even blackboards. And at the same time, I like using visuals such as PowerPoints or Keynote. Okay, so everyone else is listening. Is very participatory. How about the others? Let's include just the basics, such as eye contact, which we just talked about. Hand gestures. So it's harder to do hand gestures when we're typing, but they can still be done. Okay, so if you look at where my hands are, they're there. So even in Zoom, we can still do hand gestures. There are many things: movement, pacing, placement. We talked about emotion earlier, so even facial expressions. Basically, your delivery should amount to two things. Credibility, like John mentioned earlier. If you are going to be a doctor and you want people to believe, you should sound and look like a doctor. And the other word would be likability. There are people who speak well as far as English, but they're not likable. Have you had those, John? You speak well, but you're not very likable. In fact, you sound annoying.
Probably.
There are some people like that,
Yeah,
right?
like for example, so I did mention that I have a lot of virtual meetings, and virtual meetings comes with recordings. So later when I do my minutes and I listen to the recording, I know that I don't like the way I sound. So yeah, so I could just imagine how I sound, how I register, or how my voice registered to my audience. But personally, I don't like the way I sound. Uh, and I cringe when I listen to my recordings.
That's normally the case. We don't like our own sound. But if you let other people hear it, they can give you a feedback. In my case, your sound seems fine. There's a little bit of raspiness in your voice, so it makes it unique. The sounds that are not usually very good in terms of public speaking is something that is too squeaky and high and pitchy, and something that is too low. So you have to find your register somewhere from your diaphragm. So can you imagine if this was my voice quality as your trainer and it's kind of nasal, it would be very different. Even if my grammar and my accent is a bit okay, still this could be an annoying sound to someone. Right? You also have people who are presenting whose face looks sad or angry. Have you experienced that as well? So as much as possible, we want to make sure that we are a smiley speaker when necessary, strict and disciplined when necessary. Of course, you can't smile all the time. It's going to look very fake. Can you imagine if I'm just smiling all the way through for 2 hours? So of course, using when to use your facial expressions effectively. So Danex said presentations, visuals, AVP, methodology. So you're right, Danex. Those are parts of the visuals, but even a graphics person can help you there. What a graphics person, a graphics specialist cannot help you with would be more from your body, the way you sound and the way you look. All right. So usually when we're talking about delivery, focus more on who you are as a speaker, and then of course, your graphics. All right. We're not going to be focusing so much on delivery today. What we're going to be focusing on would be number 2 and number 3. So structure. Hi, Kath, unmute. How are you? I see you're like really ready to engage.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm
Where are you
doing
calling
good.
from?
Thank you.
Where are you calling from?
I'm from Taguig City.
Ah, you're Taguig. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're neighbors. I'm
Yeah.
actually. So when we say structure, how important is structure or organization?
Okay. As for me, structure is necessary when you speak in public because this is a tool you can be used in order for you to be understood by the audience, and it might refer to grammar, to pronunciation, and then your diction. Yes. And another thing that it matters because this is, I think, the content. Yes. I think this refers to the content your of what your speech all about, and that is how I understand it.
Okay, very good. Well, I would agree with you for the most parts. In terms of grammar, those are what we call the local structures, structuring what you say locally. Then we have the global structure, the bigger picture, which would be how did you start? How did you support your main idea into the body, and how did you conclude? So that's more on the global aspect of it. So studying structure and knowing how to flow. Sometimes we see people or we hear people and we think, how do you do that? How were you able to do that? How come you can just flow? It sounds like they're just flowing, but they've learned techniques on how to flow properly. So Kath, you mentioned you mentioned American accent or a kind of intonation. That normally goes under delivery, not structure.
I see.
Yeah,
Thank
the way
you.
you're delivering. All right. Imagine that you have great ideas, but your accent is off. Meaning, when I say it's off, it's not because you have a different accent. Because I do believe that all accents are beautiful. When I say it's off, it's unclear. That's what I mean by off. I love so certain accents can be unclear, and therefore we try to neutralize it as much as possible. We'll just talk about some techniques for American accent towards the end. We'll start with the heavy parts. Okay, you mentioned one more thing, Kath, which was content. Content doesn't go with structure, but of course you structure
Okay.
the content. So the third technical element in becoming a good public speaker is content. So Kath, what do we mean by content?
Okay. I think it refers to the how those I mean the message of your speech, and the importance about it to the audience. Yes. How does that content help them, and what will they realize after the speech? Yes,
All right.
that is how I understand it.
And you're correct. So I wrote some notes there. Substance, is it worth it? Helpfulness. Have you had someone speak a lot, but then it wasn't very helpful?
Yeah.
I think in the Philippines, we call that mema.
Okay.
You know what a mema is? Who knows what mema is? In the chat. All right, so I think Mema, well, I know Mema. So Erica is there. Ano man yun? Mema sabi lang. Erica, unmute. Hi, Erica. Okay. I can't hear Erica. Looks like her internet is down. All right, there are two things that sometimes happen. Kath, since I see
Yes.
you still moving, why is Mema Sabilang a big problem in the Philippines?
Uh, sabi lang. As for me, it okay. You will just if I am the speaker and I'm gonna take that mema sabi lang in my speech as its content. So it's no longer important for me. I mean, it's useless having that speech if the content is not so important or is not helpful to the audience.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Kath. How about Danix? Danix, can you unmute?
Thank you din po.
Hello.
Hi, Danix. Where are you calling from? I love your hair.
I'm from Cavite. Thank you.
Every time I see purple, I think of BTS for some reason.
Not a K-pop fan.
Okay.
I think for me, Mema or Mema Sabi lang is like off topic. It's inappropriate to put or insert topic out of the content you are saying. So it's inappropriate for me because it gives you to another sets of discussion that is not part of the main topic,
Yeah,
and the
so it's
focus will not be yeah the focus will not uh based on the topic itself, the one that you're speaking or telling to the audience.
so some like you said, it takes you out of focus from the main topic. They digress, they divert. Para mema sabi lang. So in English, what is mema sabi lang, Danix?
For me, it's off topic.
All right, off topic, but literally in English, just so they
Mm,
could say something.
yeah, they could say something out of nowhere.
Nowhere. All right, so let's talk to. Thank you, Danix. So Beve says it doesn't show credibility. Can you unmute Beve? I hope you have a good internet.
Yes po.
Hi, Bebe. So it doesn't
Hello.
show credibility. Have you seen people in a meeting wherein they say something just so that they can participate or so that they could just say something?
As of now, I never encountered that kind of scenario. Whenever I used to attend webinar, most of the speakers really have this knowledge on what they are saying. That's why I'm very much satisfied when I am attending webinar because I know for sure the speaker are well prepared on what they're going to say.
Okay, not just on the speaker, but I'm talking about general public. I'm
Okay.
sure that I'm sure the speakers are quite ready, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But in a meeting,
Uh,
for example, or in a classroom setting,
Yes. In a classroom scenario, of course, we can hear some students saying things that really out of the topic, as Ma'am Danik said a while ago, off of the topic. Some of the students are really sharing their thoughts that are not really related to the topic. They're really off of the topic. They just want to recite just to show that they are reciting, or they just want to tell something to tell their classmate that they have something to say, but basically it's not really what is the question is all about. And
all right,
sometimes when we hear those answers, it really let the discussion misunderstood, or it may lead the discussion in another way around.
or worse, it takes time and then you don't have enough more time to focus on what we really need to
Okay,
cover.
yes, exactly. There are times like that.
Yes. And then you can see people's eyes rolling. Have you seen
Yes,
people? And so you don't want
yes,
that to happen.
exactly.
You don't want to be speaking and then you notice eyes rolling. That's really scary. So you want to be on point. And that's, of course, you need to give great delivery, great structure, great content. So I'm going to talk briefly on structure. That will be our focus. So Normally, this is a 40 to 80 hour just on public speaking, but I'm just gonna cover a little bit more and then we're gonna move on into grammar. So let's talk about structure. Thank you there, Beve and Danix. And A said, simplified thoughts will do, straightforward but understandable. So you're right, A. It's what we call communicative English or communicative language. We should not use language to confuse people, to make them think we're smarter. Okay. I learned that word, mamaru, nagmamaru nung, trying to pretend that they're smarter. So you don't need to pretend you're smarter. If you're simple, direct to the point, and the person you're communicating to or the audience you're communicating to gets it, they feel the impact, inspiration, and influence, that's all that you need. So you can take a screenshot if you want of what I just wrote. What I'm gonna do instead is clear it now. So I got 3 seconds if you wanna take a screenshot. 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's focus on one of the elements, which would be structure. All right, A, you're the last to type. Can you unmute? Abby, I think I can see you moving, but it's kind of frozen. I want to talk to you as well. Hello, A? Or Hazel, are you there? Okay, Gilbert, how about you? Unmute. I can see you moving.
Hello.
Okay, that's better. So Gilbert, let's talk about structure. Have you ever experienced a time when you felt nawawala ako when you're speaking?
Mostly all the time po.
Mostly all the time. Okay.
Sorry po
I
for
was
my
like,
English po.
that's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're learning. Nawawala ako. Or people would say, I know what to say, don't know how to put it there. Or I don't know where to start. So according to Gilbert, these things happen
Yes
to him.
po.
These things happen to him all the time. So John says, sometimes I find myself beating around the bush. So yeah, John, that's why studying structure is important. Make your point, state your point, support your point, give an example of the point, and the point. So there's a way to do that. So let's just start with, so as you know, the structure is normally introduction, body, conclusion. So I want to focus more on the body. And normally in the body, we have certain points to give. All right. So say for example, John, back to you. Oh, I see Eric moving. Hi, Eric. John, I'll come back to you. Okay, Eric is not unmuting. John, back to you.
I'm here.
All right, so John, so sometimes you said you beat around the bush. Let's do a quick way of not beating around the bush and going straight to the point. Say, for example, you're going to discuss how to be a good, let's just do how to be a good student, whether you're in a webinar or in a classroom. All right. So in your intro, you're going to discuss how to be a good student. All right. So go ahead and state your point.
Hi, good evening. So for today, I'm going to discuss how to be a good student. Like that.
Okay, you're on. Yeah. So that's a one sentence intro. Now we're going to go with your first point.
State my. Okay, so you want me to state that?
Go straight to the point, John. Don't beat around the bush.
So the best way to be a good student is for you to listen to your teacher and apply your learnings.
Okay. That to me is straight to the point. If you want, you can simplify it into 2 different points. If you want to make it even more simple so that it's easier to explain. All right. So there are 2 concepts here that you have to explain. All right. Listen and apply. Now, if you want to make it simpler, you can remove apply and make it as your second point. So you can say another way to be a good student is to apply.
It's 6 o'clock.
All your lessons. That would simplify it, and it would make you less confused. It would make the audience less confused. What do you think? So those are 2 strategies that you can do. All right. So when you state your point, what happens next? John, what do you think happens next?
You basically elaborate on the points and provide some examples.
Okay. So we use the word analyze. So to analyze, of course, is to elaborate. And how do you elaborate? You can do the what, why, when, how, which, where. Okay. What else? What are other ways to elaborate? You can do compare and contrast. You can do cost benefit analysis. Advantage, disadvantage. You can, so those are the things you can do to analyze. So go ahead and analyze, elaborate your point, John.
Okay,
All right,
maybe
so John, state your point and then analyze it.
okay, so maybe I'll use the cost benefit analysis, or
Up to you.
I'll try my
Don't
best.
tell
Yeah.
us.
Or advantage,
Yeah.
disadvantage. Yeah.
Anything you want, just flow. Don't tell us
Okay.
what you're going to do, just analyze your point. All right,
Yes.
let the audience decide what you're using. Okay, so first what you want to do is do your 1 sentence introduction, state your point, and then analyze it.
Hello, good evening. So for today, I'd like to discuss how to be a good student. So there are 2 ways on how we can be a good student, in my opinion. First would be or one of the best way that I could share with you is to listen to your teacher. By listening to your teacher, you would be able to allow yourself to get the message and be able to absorb the the learnings that the teacher is trying to share with you.
Okay, it's a good start. Based on delivery, your pacing is a little slow. So what we can do is we can improve your pacing. This is how your pacing sounds like. So today we're going to discuss how to be a good student, and I have 2 points to share with you on how to be a good student. And the best way, the first one, the best way really is to be a good student is you listen to your teacher, and you would be able to allow yourself to get the message and be able to absorb the learning that the teacher is trying to share. Okay, so it's a good start. The thoughts are there. All right. But in terms of delivery, we want to make sure that we want to put the pacing in a little faster. reduce the fillers. Of course, this requires practice, and this requires a trainer telling you, okay, let's do it again. Remove this, redo this. Let's change the delivery. So try doing it this way. So we're adding the delivery dimension. So good afternoon, guys. My name is Chris, and today I want to discuss with you how to be a good student. The best way to be a good student is for you to listen to your teacher. Why? Well, you would be able to allow yourself to get the message and be able to absorb the learning that the teacher is trying to share. All right, take two, John. Quiet on the set and action.
Hi, good evening. Today I'm going to discuss on how to be a good student. There are actually two ways, and first is for you to listen to your teacher. Why? Because by listening to your teacher, you would be able to allow yourself to get the message and be able to observe the learning that the teacher is trying to share.
Okay, much better. Now, take three. I want you to look at the camera as you say it. All right,
Okay.
and don't overshake your head.
Oh.
Okay. All right, and action.
Good evening. So today I'm going to discuss with all of you how to be a good student. For me, there are two ways on how to be a good student, and one of them is listening to your teacher. By doing so, you would allow yourself to get the message and be able to observe the learning that the teacher is trying to share.
All right, so that is a one-sentence analysis. So let's do three-sentence analysis, at least three. What else? Okay. You can say something like, most people think that hearing and listening are the same. Not so. Hearing is just physical, but listening is something very active. It involves your entire body, mind, heart, and soul. Okay, then you can do a C. All right, it's up to you. So that would be the flow. State your point, analyze your point A, B, C with your analysis. Point one, analysis A, B, C. All right. After the analysis, what happens next, John? Okay.
Maybe
We provide examples.
Yes.
Okay. Examples. Here for the analysis, you can actually include data. You can say according to the whichever source you have. Okay. If this is extempo, meaning you're prepared, you should have done a little bit of research to validate and provide credibility for your analysis. Okay. So examples, here you can be personal. This is the heart and soul of your point. All right, so John, give us a very personal example of how listening effectively makes you a good student. Make us cry, make us laugh, give us the heart and soul. Be unique in this part of your point. This is what separates you from other people who give points. It's the heart and soul of it.
Okay. I was caught a bit off guard.
It's okay, that's why we call this impromptu. You can start with I remember when.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So I remember when I was a student, when the usual practice of students was, instead of listening, is to just record the lecture of the teacher and then just go back at it. But I realized that if I intently listen to the teacher and then go back to the recording later on, the retention of the message, or the retention of what the teacher has discussed is much higher for me. So that is my personal experience.
Okay, not bad. It's a good start. Now make us laugh. Tell us you failed. Tell us your teacher scolded you. Tell us you went home crying because, tell us you lost a girl because of that. All right. So, of course, that is a good example to go from good to great. Make us laugh, make us cry, make us feel emotional. This is the part when you can make us feel emotional. Okay. All right. So, the last part is close your point. All right. So, close your point by restating your point. So, the first way, or so the best way, go ahead, John.
So to sum things up, the best way to be a good student is for you to listen intently to your teacher.
Is to listen intently to your teacher. All right, you've made the point. We know there is only one point there. Now you're going to make a second point. Another way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, sorry, the whiteboard is not showing for me the second point.
It's not showing anymore.
Yes.
Another way to be a good student is to apply your lessons.
Yes. Okay. So another way for you to be a good student is for you to apply the lessons.
Okay, and then John is going to analyze ABC, provide example, and then he will close the point. Then he'll move on to the third and final point. So that would be the way we would present it. All right, so John, what's the first part in giving a point? John is like,
yeah, sorry, my daughter is barging the meeting. Sorry.
Okay, tell your daughter to state your point is the first part.
Yes.
And
so,
then,
okay. So for what we have discussed, state your point, and then sorry,
analyze. It's right there.
Sorry, state your point, analyze, and give closer point. Is that it?
No, you forgot one part. Example.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So yeah. So state your point. After you state your point, you analyze, you provide an example, and then close your point. Yes.
And then move to, once you close your point, move to the second.
The second point. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So that's just a snippet of what public speaking course at our school looks like. Of course, it's not just 30 minutes, 20 minutes. It's 40 hours of, okay, do it again, John. Faster, remove this, do it again, John, do it again, John, until towards your 40th hour, you should be able to think fast, structure things, should be more valuable. So, A, are you still there? How about you, Erica? Are you still there? Antonio? Unmute. Can you say I'm here if you are still here or if you had gone to the restroom? How about you, JJ? Are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, so JJ, you're still here. All right, awesome. So, JJ, what's your takeaway on the public speaking part?
One of my pain point is structuring of my sentences during public speaking. I really like the way you provide the clear pointers on how we will improve our public speaking and how we structure our sentences during public speaking. So I really like the way the methodology and how you like how the content is delivered.
It's not really restructuring the sentences, it's structuring the paragraph.
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
The question is, what was your takeaway? Your takeaway is there. You just used the wrong word. You used the word sentence. We're not structuring the sentences. We're structuring the paragraph.
Yes, the paragraph.
Yes, because later when we're written grammar, we're gonna structure a sentence. In this case, you were putting together a paragraph. What's the first part of the paragraph? Stating the point. What's the second part of the paragraph? Analyzing your point with different techniques, from compare and contrast to advantage, disadvantage, who, what, where, when, why, how, all the way to data. And then
Exactly.
after that,
Mhm.
yes, so it's a structuring of a paragraph. All right, so we're moving on to the second part. What we'll do now is June will take over for 3 to 5 minutes to explain a little bit more about our school. I'm going to get a glass of water because I'm parched. I forgot. Oh, this one was from last night. I actually have one from last night. So I need to replenish that. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. June, go ahead and take it away.
All right, so I guess pretty much that's it. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I have been
Awesome.
5 minutes. I've been listening to. I
Yeah, I
was the
could
one.
see you annotating actually.
All right, awesome, guys. So now we're going to move into grammar. All right, let me see who's here still. In the chat room, can you rate yourself as far as how strong you are in grammar? 7, average. 8, good. 9, great. 10, I'm a grammarian. 6, almost there. So go ahead and let me see what your self-rating is. Oh, Gilbert says 3. Why Gilbert? There's no 3. There's only up to 6. You went way below. All right, Gilbert, Eric, you guys are missing your photo, your video. A says 6. Beve 6. Alan Donny 7. Wow, you get okay. Well, it means to say that you have room for improvement. So JJ went with a decimal place, 0.5. All right. Let's go into some grammar. I'm going to share with you my screen. So as June mentioned, we have worked with students in a private setting. We've also worked with some students in a group setting, some students in a corporate setting, and also students in a university setting. So I've worked with ABS-CBN. Some of them might be familiar to you. I've also worked with GMA. We've been working with GMA for about 7 years, I believe. My first batch when I started training there was the batch of Alden Richards and Mark Harris. That's the first batch right there, the center photo. I was still kind of young. Alden was still pretty young. Mark Harris, still pretty young there. Luis, Isel. So that was the first batch with them. We do a lot of corporate training as well, and we've traveled all over the Philippines teaching different students from different universities. So some of our local and international clients include Chevron, Jollibee, I believe Petron is part of Chevron. San Miguel, Davis, we just work with BIR and Del Monte. So many corporate clients. It was really funny for me to work with San Miguel because I worked with their warehouse plant managers where they were doing a lot of the brewing. And I was hoping they'd give me some free drinks since I drink a lot of San Miguel on the weekends. All right. Let's skip this part. A lot of people think this is too simple, knowing the parts of speech. What I'm gonna do is brush through in less than 3 minutes all of this because I want to focus more on sentence structuring. Right? But here's one technique to remember the parts of speech. We have an acronym there, PAPA V Inc. All right. So P for pronoun, A for adjective, P preposition, A adverb, V verb, I, what's I? Interjection. N for noun, C for conjunction. So I'm gonna go very fast here because this is not our focus. In our regular sessions, this would be a 2 to 4 hour training, this part. Okay, but you're just going to see the gist of it and what you should know. So there are 7 types of nouns: proper, countable, abstract, common, collective, uncountable, and material. There are 9 types of pronouns. The most important pronoun here for me is relative pronoun because it can change the structure of a sentence. So the relative pronoun, as you see there, is on the upper right-hand corner. All right. Of course, we know personal pronoun like I, he, she, it. There are 7 types of adjectives: quantity, demonstrative. There are 3 types of verbs: action, modal, auxiliary. There are 5 types of adverbs: degree, place, frequency, manner, and time. There are 6 types of prepositions: simple, double, compound participle, disguise, and phrase. And 3 main categories: prepositions of time, prepositions of place, and prepositions of movement. Conjunctions are very important. It affects the structure of your sentence. So I would say this is the first, if not second most important of the 8 parts of speech. So we have fanboys, which are coordinating conjunction, for and nor, but, or, yet. So we have on a white bus, which is a subordinating conjunction. And then we have correlative conjunction. If you don't know how to use these conjunctions very well, this is where most people make the mistake in structuring their sentences. And then, of course, you have interjections. You have 6 types: greeting, joy, attention, approval, surprise, and sorrow. Okay, John, what do you think of the 8 parts of speech? Was 2 minutes enough?
Hello. Yeah, it's those are familiar concepts, but still a lot of concepts to take in.
Yeah, some people would say, oh my God, I didn't know about that in terms of adjective or conjunction. I didn't know we could use conjunctions to really formulate the structures of a sentence. So you're right, there is a part where people think it's basic, but in reality, there are more advanced parts of it as well. Okay, I'm going to share with you my whiteboard first. All right. Hopefully you've taken a screenshot of this so that you can sort of practice on your own on how to deliver at least 1 point. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's talk to who has good internet. Can you say I have good internet? All right, I think John has the best internet, plus he has his video. So John, it's like you're having a private class with me today. Awesome. Right? I think Kath's internet is not bad, except there are echoes in the back or someone's talking. Let's try Kath this time. Kath, go ahead, unmute. We'll try Gilbert again in a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Okay, there. So I don't hear noises anymore. But I love how big those things are on your face. Like you're about to do
It's a gaming headset.
That's probably why, like, the bass and all the sounds are probably very rich. Okay, so Kath, I'm going to say something.
Okay.
All right. Well, before I say something, you're going to be the first one to answer. But in the chat room, guys, what are the types of sentences when it comes to...
Okay, so the types of sentences with simple.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Am I going to answer now?
Yeah, go ahead. And if you guys know it, please type in the chat room as
Okay,
well.
so the types of sentences, as far as I know, are simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex. That is it.
That's it. It's a
I
good start.
remember, yes.
All right. You remembered from where? Yeah.
From studying in college.
Ah, awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Stay unmuted. I'm going to, all right, John, unmute. John, Kath, stay unmuted because I want to engage both of you at the same
Okay.
time. All right, John. So she remembers from college. How much do you want to bet that she can define this or she cannot?
How much?
Yeah. So,
my,
Kath,
my, my,
Google,
my,
yeah,
my, my enrollment fee for the unlimited course.
your enrollment. Wow, June, do you want to get that?
So Kat, if you're able to define this, I should get a free enrollment.
Well,
Really?
I have confidence in Kat. She
Okay,
said,
let us see.
all right, okay, let's try it.
Okay, so the first one is simple sentence. As for me, it refers to a sentence that has one subject and one predicate. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. And that is connected by, sometimes it's connected by,
Oh no,
coordinating conjunction. Oh, I'm not quite sure.
said by
Connected
coordinate.
by, yeah.
Functions are
And
very
then,
important when it comes to sentence structuring. June said you have to think twice if Kath gets it wrong. So Kath, start Googling as you answer.
I'm not Googling.
Otherwise,
I'm just
John
trying
will
to answer those things. As far as I remember, compound sentence that has two sentences. I know. Oh my god. Yeah, two sentences connected together through conjunction. Okay. Two sentences connected together through conjunction. And then complex sentence. Woo.
Woo! But don't worry, Beve is helping. You can look at
Okay.
Beve's.
Complex sentence. It has one independent clause and two or more dependent clauses. Okay, and then
A is helping you out or confusing you. I'm not sure which one.
okay, so compound complex. It has, oh, there's something wrong with that. Compound complex, wait, compound complex, it has one independent clause and, oh, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with my, maybe the compound complex has one independent clause and two or more dependent clauses. And then complex sentence, that refers to, oh God.
Okay, we can pause here. All right. So I think all of us are like, if Kath, if you could have heard the child behind you is like, no, you're wrong. Yeah, the baby was giving you the answer. They was screaming out loud. It's not right. You're not hearing it now. Okay. So compound, you can use coordinating conjunctions as well. All right. So if you notice here, you're on the right track naman. All right. You are defining it according to subject and predicate, all right, and conjunction. You're defining it according to sentences, and then you suddenly switch to clauses as a definition. So to define these structures, all right, you cannot stick to subjects and predicates and conjunctions. What you need to do based on definition is this part right here. Okay, stick to clauses, because when we're talking about types of sentence structuring, it's all about clauses. All right, so let me redo that for you guys. All right, so very simple formula. All right, so John, you lost, but don't worry. I mean, we won't charge you extra. June won't charge you extra. It's just that Kathy could have gotten John a free unlimited class instead of just a free 2-hour class here, right? If you can learn a lot in 2 hours, can you imagine by the end of the year how masterful you will be as a public speaker, how your American accent will also change if you want, you don't have to. And also, of course, your grammar. Okay, so just very quickly, what does this mean? Okay. A simple sentence has only one independent clause, only one. Okay. No more, no less, only one. Okay. Compound has at least two. So it's not two. How many, John? Unmute. How
Dependent
many,
on
John?
one?
Compound.
Just one. This one?
For compound.
Sorry.
Can you see what I typed?
D plus one.
Oh, no, that's complex. X.
Okay.
So compound has at least two independent clauses. Complex has at least one dependent clause
And one independent.
and only one independent. Okay. And compound complex has at least one dependent clause. So when we say at least one, could be two, could be three. And at least two clauses. All right, so very easy to remember. If you look at it, they have a pattern. So only one, at least two. Only one, at least two. All right, John, unmute. John, can you say only one, at least two? Only one, at least two.
Only one, at least two. Only one, at least two.
All right, and what are they referring to?
The different types of sentences.
No, they're referring to the independent clause.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The mnemonics. Yeah.
Yes, because we're not talking about dependent yet. So you can't say types of sentences. We're just referring to the number of clauses, of independent clauses. Okay, so simple has only one, compound has at least two. Complex has only one, compound complex has at least two independent clauses. So only one, at least two, only one, at least two. That's it. All right, and then the one with the compound, complex rather, has at least one dependent, and here has at least one dependent clause. Okay, so when we say at least one, it could be one, it could be two, it could be three. All right. So I'm going to, you can screenshot this if you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, so we're going to create a sentence real quick, just to structure it. John, Give me a subject.
Training.
I'm sorry, training. All right. Okay, a second subject, John.
Participants.
Let's do participation. So it's and last subject, John.
Um,
So training, participation,
and application.
Okay, we'll stop there. All right, so here's a sentence. In the chat room, can you tell me if this is simple, compound, complex, or compound, complex? So John, think about it. Now, if you lose John, you have to pay for Kath. We're just joking around, of course. We're just making our... All right. So Beve says it's a compound complex. So John, don't answer yet. Let's see what the crowd is going for. That's a long sentence. My gosh, how many words? John, while we're waiting for the answers, can you please count how many words for
Really?
us? Just count there while you're waiting because you're analyzing it as well before you're gonna give the final answer. So Gilbert said it's a compound complex. All right, where's the rest of you? Still thinking? If you don't want to give a guess, just say I'm too shy to give a guess. Or, all right, John is still thinking and counting. Kath, where's your answer? Eric, JJ, Danix, Alandoni, Deborah, Erica, Antonio. All right, Antonio says it's a so most people are going compound complex. Kath also. All right, Kath answered. Is everyone else in the bathroom? Danik. All right, so everybody thinks it's a compound complex. Okay, well, no one else is deviating. So, John, how many words?
84.
84 words in how many sentences?
How many sentence? Just one.
Just one, because we have a period, right? It's
Yes.
right there. One sentence.
Yes.
All right. Kath is changing her answer. All right, Kath, how many answers do you want? All right, so John, what is it?
I I'm sorry, but I think if we could, although we've broken down the different clauses, if could you elaborate more on the definition of the independent clause or the difference between the independent clause and the dependent clause? I think that would help a lot in terms of us identifying how many of
But don't
which.
worry, you'll get that in the full version.
Oh, okay. So,
Because
all right. So
if
I have to
I have
assume,
to,
right?
yeah, you have to assume that yes, you should know a clause by now. If you don't know a clause by now, it's hard to answer it. You're right, and you're right. But I think that's the reason why you're going to take the full version. I mean, some people sign up for a year, but they only take 3 to 6 months because they're really good after 3 to 6 months. It's
Yeah,
really up to them. But they're
yeah,
given a full year to like really go in and out.
yeah. I think I know what a clause is, but I'm just not sure the difference between the independent versus the dependent clause. So
Right. So
that's
Beverly is saying she thinks there are 2 independent clauses there and 5 dependent clauses. So there are some clues. So we only have about 15 to 20 minutes left. We're gonna move into American accent right after this.
yeah. Well, so to give a quick answer, I think the the sentence is complex enough to I think to be a compound complex
Okay, so you think it's
sentence.
complex. All right, this 84-word sentence is a simple sentence. Yeah, but Kath, you gave a second answer. But Kath, tell me why it's a simple sentence. Unmute.
Hello. It's a simple sentence as for me because that ideas refer to only one thing, and that's about training. And it has only one independent clause. And at the same time, yes, even though those ideas are separated by commas, still it does not use semicolon to indicate that it has two independent clauses. Yes.
Okay.
So that's why my answer.
Oh, sorry, I muted you. There was noise in the background.
I'm
So
sorry.
John, Kath is correct with her answer.
Yes.
So Kath, you're correct with your answer. Congratulations. However, you're incorrect with your explanation.
Sorry.
So
All right.
it has nothing to do with it's just about training, the content. It has nothing to do with semicolons. It has to do only with the independent clause. Okay. So you were correct at first, and then as soon as you mentioned other things, you became incorrect in your explanation.
All right.
Which means to say you still don't understand what a simple sentence is fully yet.
I'm
So
so confused. Yeah.
yes, but your understanding is beginning. All right. So what is the main sentence? The main sentence is training,
Training.
participation, and application are great, will make us, and will definitely. That's it. So it's almost like saying the dog, the cat, and the mouse are playing, have already eaten, and will sleep in a bit. That's it. So what ended up happening was I inserted phrases which confused most of you. So phrases. Okay. John, repeat after me.
Sure.
Say Say this 3 times. Phrases do not affect the structure of a sentence.
Phrases do not affect the structure of a sentence. Phrases do not affect the structure of a sentence. Phrases do not affect the structure of a sentence.
Only clauses.
Only clauses.
All right. So meaning to say, you need to know how to use phrases and clauses properly to make the best sentences, to be able to create and engineer them. So this is just a phrase. Here's another phrase. This is a phrase. Another phrase. These are phrases. 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 Okay, so there are many phrases there. So of course, John asked, well, first of all, we need to know what clauses are, right? So what are clauses? Well, clauses are, you can watch some of our, you can come to our next training. We'll define clauses, but it's important. So why do people make sentences, John, when they don't even know clauses? What happens? Why do you think that's the case?
Well, basically, they just try to provide, the entire the entire information that they would like to provide in a in a single sentence, or something like that.
Yes, it's basically, it's transferred from what they hear on TV or what they hear from school, from work, from their friends, not really knowing that there are elements they should master in order to not doubt themselves. Otherwise, if you do not know the clauses, you will always be in doubt. So here's the evolution of speech and why people sometimes doubt themselves. So of course, when you are born, perhaps crying is the first thing that came out of your mouth. After crying, John, what happens to our language?
I think we start experimenting on the sounds.
Yes, that's called
The
gibberish, right?
function.
Blah, blah. And then after gibberish,
Then probably single words.
mirrored words.
Mirror
Yes,
words. Yeah.
we normally mirror mama, papa, dada,
Oh yeah.
mama. Yes, after mirrored words,
Then that's the time that you move into single word
letters.
concepts. Letters.
We have words. Yeah, well, single word contexts are in the mirrored words. Letters. We start to recognize letters. All right. Letters form what?
Pictures.
John?
Words.
No, letters form pictures. Colors and lines form pictures.
So
Words.
Yes. Yeah.
Words form.
Phrases.
Phrases form.
Clauses.
Clauses form.
Sentences.
Yes. Sentences form.
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs form.
A story. Books. Essays. Articles. Yeah.
So the problem, ang problema, el problema is that, oops, going into, see, there's your clauses explanation. The problem is that people go from words to sentences. That's the main problem. June, let me just ask you, why is going from words to sentences a problem? Why is skipping these two a problem?
Because there are structures, sentence construction, and patterns that you also have to be aware of, not just how to translate words or know the meaning of those words.
Right. Just so the problem people would say is, I don't have enough vocabulary. Is that really true, June? They don't have enough vocabulary, or you think they have enough?
Sometimes people misinterpret their capacity to speak simply because by saying I don't have enough vocabulary, when in fact they do have enough vocabulary, they know a lot of English words, they just don't know how to put it together.
Yes, and you can put it together with phrases, clauses, and sentences. I always have many students who say, oh, the reason I don't speak well is because I don't have enough vocabulary. So I say to the student, listen to me for 1 hour. At the end of 1 hour, tell me what you didn't understand. Which word? And they say, I understood everything. So you have enough vocabulary. You understood me perfectly fine. Right? Of course, that's exaggerating. I'm not doing 1 hour. Usually I speak for 3 minutes, nonstop. And then I ask the student, okay, can you please tell me what I talked about? What word did you not understand? And they would usually say, oh, I understood everything. So words, vocabulary is not your problem. Like June said, it's how you put the words together. That is the problem. You don't know how to put the words together. And no one's teaching you how to put the words together. Okay. Last part, I promised we're going to talk about American accent. So I'm just going to mention some parts on American accent, so that you at least have something to go by. When it comes to American accent, there are three things that we look for. And those three things are, all right, let me share with you my screen real quick. Right. In the chat room, what do you think is or are the elements of an American accent? Anyone? What are the elements of an American accent? Linking, okay. Intonation. Blending. So Beve, linking and blending are the same, correct? Pronunciation by Erica, that's correct also. Liaison. So liaison is the linking. So liaison is what we would say when we're talking about a more technical term, liaison. So what is liaison? Liaison is linking and blending. Tone is part of the intonation, that the root word of
It's
intonation
7 o'clock.
is tone. Stress is part of intonation. IPA. So IPA is, what is IPA, Kath? That's part of phonetics, which would be part of pronunciation.
International phonetics.
Okay, so to make it simple, there are four major parts only. Okay, so what is an American accent? Some people call it a twang. That's one dimension. So a twang is like a southern drawl. For example, people from the South, like Louisiana, Texas, they have a certain twang. Regional. So in California, there's a regional accent. In Hawaii, it's also a regional accent. And of course, New York, those are regions. So I'm more of a West Coast region accent. Then you have standard accent. Standard accent is the one that I'm using. It's neutralized. It's the accent that most reporters would use. It's the accent that is understood by anyone around the world. Something that is twang and regional They're a little more difficult to understand. Neutral accent is very similar to standard. They're synonymous. Reduced accent is what Filipinos are going through. That's the reason why a lot of our BPOs come to the Philippines, because they feel that our accent is not as thick, it's reduced. And of course, mainly clarity is very important. Above all else, there should be a certain kind of clarity based on your audience. So you guys were mentioning pronunciation earlier as one main aspect. Pronunciation would involve different vowel and consonant sounds. Liaison is another dimension. Intonation, and lastly, fluency. If you don't have all these four, it's hard to have an American accent. So pronunciation is not the only element of an American accent. Here are some pronunciation. I'll skip this because we don't have much time. Consonants for Filipinos. All right, let's just go with Gilbert, unmute.
Hello po.
All right, Gilbert, pronounce
Yes.
that word. Read.
Almond.
Okay, so that's incorrect.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're don't be sorry, Gilbert. We're learning. Okay,
Yes
you should
po. Thank you po.
be happy because you're going. All right. So can you say amen?
Almond.
So, silent L. All right. Next
Almond.
one.
Accessory.
Again.
Accessory.
All right. Use an American A. Ack. Ack, not uck. Accessory.
Accessory.
Smile. Smile. Ah.
Accessory.
Better.
Accessory.
All right. Better. All right. Next one.
Admirable.
All right. Admirable.
Admirable.
Don't say my. Mra. Admirable.
Admirable.
Mra.
Admirable.
Yeah, don't say mira. Mra. Like bruh.
Mira.
Yeah.
Admirable.
Don't say mira. That's two
Okay.
syllables.
Admirable.
Just say
Okay.
mra.
Okay.
One syllable.
Mira.
Yes, like bra.
Admirable.
Yes, admirable. Okay.
Admirable. Admirable.
Next one. Gilbert, active listening according to John.
Adolescents.
Not adolescents, adolescents.
Yes, sorry, sir. Adolescents.
All right, next.
Advocacy.
Advocacy. Applicable. Okay, next one.
Applicable.
Next.
Appreciate.
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 There you go. Better.
Associate. Sorry, sir.
Don't be
Associate.
sorry. Yeah. Gilbert, say
Sorry, sir.
Don't be sorry, Gilbert.
Okay. Associate.
Just repeat after me. She.
Associate.
Yes. Associate.
Associate.
Better. Much better. Now faster. Associate.
Associate.
Much better.
Attorney.
Attor.
Attorney. Attorney. Attorney.
Everybody who's on mute, just repeat after me. Beneficiary. Broccoli.
Beneficiary.
Category.
Broccoli. Category.
Cemetery. Chocolate.
Cemetery.
Cleanliness.
Couch.
Comfortable. Condolence. Confirm. Controversy. Coupon.
Controversy.
Education. Entrepreneur. Exciting. So there are many. Okay. I'll just go. All right. Gilbert, how about this one? One more word before we go.
Condolence. Okay.
No, one-eyed circle.
Hippopotamus.
Ano?
Hippopotamus.
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 Miss.
Mas. Okay po. Hippopotamus.
Okay, not bad. Your T is too strong. You should make it soft. Potter. Like Harry Potter.
Hippopotamus.
Not hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
All right.
Sorry.
It's okay. Don't be sorry. That's the
I'm
reason
shy.
why you're shy.
I'm so
Don't be shy.
nervous.
Why? They won't eat you.
Sorry.
Okay, so these are some words. The last part is intonation. Pitch,
Thanks,
emotion, stress. All right. Liaison. So those are some things that you need to look out for when it comes to. All right. So these are just examples. Of course, we would. Okay, so we have 11 survivors, June, of this free training. All right. I think at one point when you have free training, a lot of people just want to check it out. They're not in there necessarily for the entire duration, but some people are a little more serious. We know that in the industry, especially in these times of pandemic, a lot of people don't want to stay for the whole thing. They just want to see what's going on as well, especially when it's free, right? So that's the reason why we don't provide as many free trainings at our school. We just provide it once in a while. The reason is when we provide free training, nobody really stays because it's free anyway. So why should I stay? Right? What do you think, June?
Yeah, some people just want to check it out on how it works and see if it fits them. But actually, just to share with you, Chris, a lot of them lost their connection, so they really wanted to log in, but unfortunately, they had attempted several times, but they can't.
All right. But in any case, it's my experience in the last 10 years. I don't know if John knows about this, is that when you give something for free, a lot of people don't take it a little seriously. It's because they didn't commit anything to it anyway. But that's perfectly fine. This is just, we knew about this as well. And, this is our passion, is for those people who stayed, thank you very much for staying. Perhaps we can just get like some feedback from you guys. I'm curious, John, is there something that you picked up from here, at least just 2 hours or less than that? Because for the most part, it was a 30-minute intro. But what did you enjoy or what did you like about the free session we had today, John?
Well, I like that most of the activities sink in on me. I, I get to really to get a feel on how a full training uh, would be like, and which is why I have already expressed my interest to enroll on the full training. And just a few words on this training. So for this year, I've really made it a point as one of my goal is to really work on my English, because it's part of my work that I have meetings with my colleagues in North America. So I know that this is an area that I can improve a lot. So which is why even if this is a free training, It's something that I really wanted to take, and partly for me to check on how I would really want to avail the free training, which I have already seen in your website. So I was really glad that the free training was given at this time, because I was really looking into your courses even early this year. So I'm glad that uh, I basically like the methodology so far, and I've already expressed my interest to enroll for the entire unlimited course.
So you got a snippet of each part. You got a snippet of the public speaking. So in an unlimited training, you get about 100 sessions of those. And in the grammar section, you get another 100 sessions of those. In the American accent, so meaning to say you will be creating speeches in front of your colleagues. So we did just the point today, but the goal is to do a 5 to 10-minute presentation impromptu, flowing naturally with fewer fillers and commanding your audience to have the 3 I's: influence, to impact, and to inspire. Right. So thank you for your great participation, John. I know that you wanted to participate because you are really wanting to learn, and also because you have your video and your audio perfectly clear. It's a good way to do it. JJ, how about you? You have an awesome background there.
Thank you, Chris. I really like the way the flow of the instructions, very interactive, and I have a lot of pain points like the structuring and my grammar. I want to enhance that. I'm actually in IT professional, so I want to deliver my pitch with my clients or colleagues whenever presenting nowadays, especially COVID age, we're mostly on virtual meetings. So I want to create more impact. So I believe this platform will help me definitely to be more natural and subconsciously fierce in providing my pitch and my presentations online. And hopefully, I will gain more knowledge and confidence and inspiration. So one of my goal is to get more inspiration from you guys, and hopefully I'll get more confidence in the future. And thank you for giving this free. Actually, it's very. I mean, it's very. It's free, but I learned a lot from you, and thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Okay, if you can't take the full version, take the 40-hour version. It's on 50% promo. So you can contact June. It's 50%.
Yeah.
If you got a lot in 2 hours, can you imagine 38 to 40 more hours of this? Meaning to say, by the time you're reaching 30, 40 hours, you're already presenting a lot and your grammar has changed, delivery has changed. So we welcome that as well. All right, I'll ask 2 or 3 more people before we go. How about you, Eric? Earlier, I couldn't hear you.
Hello.
Hi, Eric.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
So what's your takeaway? What did you learn? What did you enjoy? Any feedback?
About the free training, thank you so much. I have so much learning. Especially, hello.
Yes, we're
Hello, sir.
listening. Keep going.
Especially during discussion about how to be the confidence.
Okay. So Eric, I would highly recommend, if you really want to improve, reduce Mobile Legends, increase more on Zoom workshops. All right. Reduce cigarette if you smoke, reduce drinking, and put that fund into training yourself to be a fluent speaker, because communication skill is sexy. It makes you look good.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, communication skill is power. It makes you persuade people to do things. All right. So thank you, Eric. How about you, Gilbert?
Hello, sir. Yes, sorry for the I'm not for late. Oh my God.
Gilbert, nandito
Sorry
ka na
for.
naman.
I
Ang
want to
message,
thank.
wag ka mag-sorry. Don't be
Yeah.
sorry. Learning is not a sorry experience. It should be, try to think about being grateful. Yun na lang.
Yes.
Wag dagdagan ng mga sorry.
Oh. Sir, I want to thank for the webinar, and I learned a lot on how to construct a grammar. First of all, the pronunciation, and maybe I have no confidence while speaking English because I don't know. I need to learn more, and I want to be more. I want to go to school talaga po
All right.
because
So Gilbert,
sometimes I not confident with my English. That's why I don't want. Sometimes I don't want to speak in English. I don't want to talk po. Parang ganun po. That's why I have no
ako naman,
confidence to
ako
speak
marunong
in English.
magtagalog. Ako naman, Gilbert, hindi ako marunong magtagalog. Pero pag may oportunidad talaga, ginagamit ko. Hindi ako see, I don't even know the word. Hindi ako bumabaliktad. Susuko. Hindi ako susuko. Pero I will keep trying. Kasi hindi ko ginagamit
Yes.
in Tagalog. Yun yung dahilan.
Yes, I will keep trying soon.
Alright. How about
That's why I search a school on how teach me how to talk fluent. Then I found American Institute where
Alright, so
nearby here may apartment po.
okay,
That's why
awesome.
I want to enroll to your school po.
Alright, we hope to see you soon, Gilbert. How about you, Kath?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any takeaways?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you, and especially to you, sir, for having us here. And this session made me to realize that there are still some things that I need to polish up about this global language. And also, I still need to practice more about my pronunciation, my grammar, because it's not that good. And also, thank you so much for having this interactive, session. We've learned a lot from you guys, and especially from you, sir. Thank you so much.
Actually, we're called by our first names at our school. So you guys can call me Chris. Add me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. I am Chris
Okay.
Dela Cruz. We are doing this 2 weeks from now, next Friday, right, June? And if you want to attend again for free, you have to invite a friend. That's the only way you can come in. So just have a buddy or two, and then it's free. We're gonna cover other things. We're not gonna repeat. We're gonna cover different parts of public speaking. So we might be covering how to do a better introduction. We might be covering a different part of grammar. For example, how do you put phrases in there so that it doesn't confuse John, that the phrases do not affect the structure. What are these phrases? There are 8 phrases, right? And then we might be covering a verb tense. How do you use past perfect versus present perfect? Why are they different? Okay, so you can come and learn again different things next week. Just bring a friend or two. All they have to do is follow our YouTube, and that's it. We're trying to grow our YouTube as well. All right, last one. How about you, Beve or Erica? Beve.
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, thank you also for this great opportunity. So I think I really enjoyed the discussion. Even though I'm off cam, I really learned a lot. The most engaging part of me and which I really miss is that pronunciation session. I would appreciate it if it's really done well or we all engage in that kind of pronunciation activity. And I came to figure out as well as you are writing something on the whiteboard about the simple sentence. I came to figure out, yeah, that's a phrase, not a, it's not a clause. So it makes me again to realize the difference between clauses and phrases. So because sometimes it's really confusing when it's a phrase or a clause because of the presence of the conjunctions. So that's it.
Right.
It's me led me into it correct myself. I correct myself regarding that portion. So I'm really thankful about that. I learned something this day really. Thank you.
Okay, so awesome. Thank you, Beve. And of course, John will be going through that experience. He will be identifying what is a clause. So the clause is very easy to identify. It's there. But next time, we'll focus on American accent a little bit more in terms of pronunciation and how to identify certain words, even if the trainer is not there. So we call that a study on phonetics. So we have things different every 2 weeks. Just bring a friend or two so that we can grow this group to 100 listeners all at the same time. And you build your confidence when you have 100 people watching you do 3 points, like what John will be doing in front of others. Okay, so thank you guys for today. Contact June if you have any question. I appreciate your participation. Thank you for being so friendly as well. And June, thank you for this meeting and having me. So have a great dinner, guys. Take care. Please contact June if you have any questions and
Yes,
add
sir.
me on Facebook.